comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out hot. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. We always been. Yeah, WAAY 31 is rocking all right.
Big game Friday night. Max Cohan, Trevor Denton.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental. Big game Friday night.
A non-region battle between two teams with impressive playoff streaks. Geraldine and Boaz meet in our big game Friday night game of the week.
Out in the Shoals, Deschler and Colbert County have played every season since 1967. They were at it again in our rivalry game of the week.
Hello and welcome into the Week 5 edition of Big Game Friday Night. Each high school football season, teams play 10 regular season games, while after tonight's slate, most teams have officially entered the second half of the season with 6 games under their belt.
That's a lot to fit under a belt, and I'm a size 34, but jokes aside, even with nearly every single game tonight being out of region competition, starting to become clear who's for real, who has a shot at playing football into November.
Yeah, both Boaz and Geraldine have reached the postseason at least every year since 2018, and tonight these playoff regulars battled it out in our big game Friday night game of the week. When these teams met last year, the Bulldogs won 49-20, but that was before Luke Pruitt took over the Pirates. Geraldine on the attack first. Braxton Franklin rolls to his left, lowering the shoulder for a big first down, but they come up empty on that drive. Now the Pirates, hoping X marks the spot in the end zone. Sage Bennett won't get there this time, but remember, Bennett can also throw it deep, and this time he's got a guy giving him the wave. Translation, I'm wide open. Bennett tries to get it to him, but by then he's double covered, and now we've got a tip drill, and James Eakin secures it to end the threat. Boaz would make a change under center. Now the freshman Bo Bennett is letting it fly, and his cousin Sage is on the receiving end of a big pickup. But how will we know if it's a first down? Oh yeah, that'll do it. And that connection had some chemistry, so they go for it again, and they find the end zone. Boaz would shut out Geraldine, handing the Dogs their first loss of the season, 20-0.
I'm proud of the way our kids played. We knew it was going to be physical coming into it, and it was physical for 48 minutes. Hats off to Geraldine. They had a really good plan coming in, and we were able to get the best of them tonight. They're a quality team, and they're going to make a run deep in the playoffs. So it was a playoff-like game for us, and I'm just proud of the way our kids played. Offense figured out a way to get in the end zone before halftime, and we got to the second half. Defense lights out tonight. Proud of the way the guys played.
All right, let's go up to 7A, check in on Bob Jones. You remember the Patriots were off to a scorching start, but then Florence brought them back down to earth last Friday. Kelvis White and the Pats looking to bounce back after their first loss of the season. They hosted Gadsden City. It was up 20-9 at the half. Bob Jones goes to the Wildcat to get something going. Jaden Rice fighting through half the Titans roster, trying to bring him down, while half the Patriots team trying to push him further. But it's a first down. Same series started the fourth, and Jacoby Gill hands it to who else? Mr. Rice, who busts up the middle for the score. Patriots decide to go for 2 to get within a field goal. Who else would it be catching the ball but Reese Dorsey? But did he make it? The ref says yes. Bob Jones down only 3, trying to hold the Titans on 4th down in their own territory. And then quarterback Sam Solly does this, a long shot to Kayshawn Curry, who slips out of one tackle. See ya later. So is the game for the Patriots. Gadsden City wins 27-24.
Let's stay in 7A Region 4 for one of the night's rare region games between Albertville and Grissom. Both the Aggies and Tigers head into this one winless in region play, and Grissom head coach Preston Judah opts to roll the dice on the opening kick. It's an onside, and the Aggies are fooled, and they can't bring it in. Eventually, the Tigers fall on it, and it's Kamari and Allen with the recovery, but Grissom couldn't do anything on that drive. Adam Weingarten's squad takes over, and Albertville also playing dangerously. 4th and short in the red zone. They run it. Their sophomore quarterback fakes the handoff and fights his way towards the goal line, and the stretch gets it done as the Aggies strike first. But their celebration wouldn't last long. The Tigers would storm right back down the field, and Kenya Johnson takes the direct snap, and half the Aggie defense for a ride as he gets in for 6. But Grissom would miss the tying extra point. And get this, the Aggies' long losing streak comes to an end tonight as Albertville wins their first game since 2022, 20-18. The James Clemens Jets should be 3-1 right now, but a violation of AHSAA rules forced them to forfeit their season opening win against Gardendale. So Juan Johnson's squad was looking to get back over 500 on the season with a win at Spain Park.
Who do you think would win in a fight, a Jet or a Jaguar?
A Jet, easily.
You don't see that in the wild often, but you do see it on a football field. The James Clemens Jets knocking on the Jags' door, using a long 7.5-minute drive on their opening drive, but then Matthew Evers gets intercepted by Joe Cross. Spain Park takes over and quickly crosses over midfield with a huge play. Brock Bradley to Keena Rigo. Big play there. James Clemens hawks him down. That ends up being a big play. Spain Park fumbles on the very next snap on a mishandled read option, and the Jets all over it. Second quarter now, though. Bradley rolls right, tucks it, and his dive just short of the desired pylon. On the next play, Hudson Hibbard breaks the plane for the first score of the game, 7-0 Spain Park. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Jags get the ball back at their own 30 on a punt. One play, one score. That man Bradley dropping bombs tonight to Connor Greb. 70 yards for the score. Spain Park wins 28-7.
Entering Friday's slate of games, most of the teams in the state had at least one win, but not Lee and Decatur. The Generals and Red Raiders met tonight, which meant one of them was going to get their first win of the season. Lee hoping to avoid being shut out for the third consecutive game in a beautiful waxing crescent moon over Milton Frank. Yeah, I googled moon phases. We jump in with Decatur up a score in the second quarter. Red Raiders on the attack, and Reed Robertson drops back and hits Quaylen Hampton on the screen, and the junior turns on the Jets as he takes it inside the 10, but Robertson would finish the drive himself, lowering the shoulder as he barrels through the defense to double the Decatur lead. The Generals would decide to try and air things out to get on the scoreboard before the break. Caleb Martin unleashes a moon ball, and Caden Watkins makes the interception look easy, picking it off to end the threat. The Red Raiders went on to win this one, 35-12.
Out at Hazel Green's new field, the Trojans hosted Athens tonight. That sounds like one of the great stories from the Iliad, but it's not. The Golden Eagles entered the game having won their last 6 matchups against Hazel Green. Cody Gross trying to get his squad back above 500 with a victory tonight. So, you know, the Trojans known for that Trojan horse, but Athens has really good defense. They weren't going to let anything sneaky happen. Big sack by Aiden Baines there. Then another big defensive play by the Athens Golden Eagles. Throw here. Look at that. Caden Bledsoe flying in from out of nowhere into your frame to intercept the pass. A lot of defense in this highlight. Gavin Rodriguez's turn to wrestle the quarterback to the turf. But we got to show some offense as well. Defense set them up in great position, and the offense rewards them. Xavier Edwards dancing around, finds the corner of the end zone. Let's show you another touchdown from this one. Why not? I think this one, yeah, like showing the run there. And big Aiden Lavelle, that's a big guy running the rock right there, gets in 28-0. The final score for Athens tonight over Hazel Green. And I'm getting thirsty, Max. Let's call our first little timeout of the night. How about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty thirsty too. Don't go anywhere, because we're heading out to Manly Stadium for a Shoals showdown in our rivalry game of the week, right after the break.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday night. Go
Welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. During these non-region weeks, there aren't always a ton of meetings that have as much history as this next one between Deschler and Colbert County.
That's right. The Tigers and Indians first met more than 100 years ago. Sure, Deschler has won nearly 70% of the meetings, including the last 8, but anything can happen on a Friday night under the lights.
So let's head out to Manley Stadium, where Paige Meyer has our recap of this Shoals showdown.
These two teams have been playing each other since 1923. A lot of things have changed since then, but this rivalry is just as fierce. Deschler went on to take this game tonight for the 9th time in a row against Colbert County, with the final score ending 57-16. There wasn't a dull moment tonight at CT Manley Stadium. Deschler starts us off at the 50, and they waste no time getting to work. Miguel Rocha snags this ball, running it into the end zone for the first score of the night. With the ball now in the Indians' hands, Corian Campbell here gets the ball and he takes off. He runs until he can't anymore, reciprocating the score, tying up the game. But this doesn't faze Deschler one bit. Bryce Thornton looking for a Tiger here, and he finds Garrett Reed. That catch taking the senior down the field for yet another Deschler touchdown. With the ball back in the Cardinal and White's possession after an onside kick, Kendrick Gunn breaks through the pack, racking up those points, bringing the score up 22-8. Colbert County struggling to keep up now as Deschler's defense stays matching their offense. A huge throw here by Thornton as the ball finds its way to Camden Fuller in the end zone for yet another score. With only one more score on the board for Colbert County this game, the final score tonight ended 57 Deschler, 16 Colbert County.
Good win, rivalry game, so anytime we can win this game, it's good. We've got a lot of things we've got to work on, got sloppy at the end, but proud of our kids, proud of our community. They showed out tonight, so proud of them. I think we started fast, and that was the message all week, start fast. And finish strong, and we got some work to do on the finish part, but I was proud of our team for starting fast.
Again, the final score tonight at CT Manley Stadium, Deschler 57, Colbert County 16. Reporting in Colbert County, Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 Sports.
We saw Albertville end a long streak today. Could Columbia do that? A 95-game losing streak. Sammy Coates and company looking to finally end it against East Lawrence at Louis Crews Stadium. Look at this opening kickoff. Hakeem Dunnigan can't get a grip on the football. He finally does, and now the senior makes a statement, taking it all the way back for an improbable long touchdown return. But East Lawrence had a quick response. It's the 8th grader Tyler Young, and the youngster doesn't even have to put it in high gear to tie this game up. And Coach Coates looking on his play sheet, hoping there's something on there that can get his guys back in front in the ball game. And hey, it looks like he found something on there. Tyson Reeves fakes the handoff to Hakeem and then escapes the pressure, finds himself some open space. Nobody going to stop him in the foot race. The senior celebrates a little early, doesn't matter, still in for 6 as the Eagles retake the lead. But the losing streak would not end tonight. Very, very close, but it's now at 96 games as East Lawrence wins 28-24. There's an old saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Tyler Van's Scottsboro squad opened the season with a tight loss to Fort Payne. Since then, they've gone all Windies on us, going 4 for 4. Tonight, they hit the road to try to make it 5 in a row against Central Clay County, but they couldn't get the traction they needed in this one, and their opponent wins 26-9.
Speaking of teams that have bounced back well, how about the Madison Academy Mustangs? Bob Godsey's squad opened the season with a loss to Mars Hill, but they've won every game since. Tonight they hosted A-Rab at Bill Washington Stadium, and Coach Godsey feeling good about his team's chances running the ball. And why not? Quarterback Charleston Owens thinks about throwing left, decides to keep it himself, and the legs do the talking, running it right up the middle, and even a little skip into the end zone as the Mustangs go up 7-0. Later in the first, Owens, feeling a little generous, as most quarterbacks do, he hands it off to Dalen Scott, and he follows the same path Owens just took. It is 14-0 Madison Academy. But head coach Kyle Routon is hoping his Knights have something up their sleeves. Maybe one of them could step up, maybe two. And I think you're going to see that on this play. Nicholas Stevens going all the way up top. Davis Kinney pulls it in as he goes to his knees, gets tackled, but he's in the end zone as the Knights fight back. A-Rab would make things interesting, but Madison Academy hangs on for the 35-27 win. Out at Madison County, the Tigers have alternated between wins and losses every week this season, and if they were going to keep the trend, they'd have to beat Ardmore tonight, but they just couldn't do it as Ardmore wins it 41-20. And coming up, we turn our attention away from the passes and catches.
I like how you said skip earlier.
Skip.
Well, stick with us. We'll highlight our defensive play of the day right after the break.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday night. Hey, Bill, Mom! It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
All right, here's something fun we've been doing at every Big Game Friday night game of the week so far this season, firing off this WAAY 31 t-shirt cannon. That's our GM, Mike Wright, showing some of the BOAS students and cheerleaders how it's done. I saw one of the cheerleaders shoot one literally over the entire stands. Never seen that before, so that thing has some turbulence to it. All in all, awesome environment at BOAS tonight. Had a great time there before the game, and a great destination for tonight's game of the week, Max.
Yeah, I mean, that was an exciting game. Obviously, we were hoping that we'd get a little bit more points, 20 total points. Not a ton.
Yeah.
Still good. Still a great game. Big win for Boaz.
You know why we only saw 20 points total in that
Defense.
one? Really, really good defense. And there was great defense all across the board in that game, Max.
Yeah, let's take a look at our defensive play of the day. And this was an unbelievable one. Boaz looking for the end zone. Again, we got that wave. Everybody thinks that they got it. Tip drill. And James Eakins there to make an unbelievable grab. Wasn't even the first defender to get his hand on the ball.
Wow.
But he secured it in the end zone, denying Boaz of yet another touchdown. Unfortunately for Geraldine, they couldn't get the win, but hey, still got the win with the defensive play of the day.
Excellent focus, keeping an eye on it, and sometimes it pays to be in the right place at the right time. How about that?
Absolutely.
This is always a right place at the right time. Douglas and New Hope winning their first two games, that's always awesome. But then they lost their next two, not the place you want to be, but only one team could end the night with a winning record. The Indians averaged 42.5 points over their first two, just 3 points per game since. Their defense comes up with a massive play here. Douglas looking down the field, but Gavin Runlet rises up and fights for the interception. That was a contender for defensive play of the week for sure. But here's the last thing you want to do after a turnover. Turn it over yourself. Lucas Terry throws it right into the waiting hands of Judson Murray, and the DB flips the field with a solid return there. And Murray's kind of like a Nintendo Switch. You can play him two different ways. Now he takes the handoff on offense and dashes forth for a near touchdown just in front of that pylon there. getting stopped short. Now the Eagles, they just got to punch it in. And what I do in NCAA 25, or is it 26 now? I run the QB blast when I'm on the goal line. Baker Lyles cooks up a Douglas touchdown to put them up 21-0 as they went 41-7 over New Hope. Who doesn't love a directional battle? Eastern Central Michigan. Well, we got one right here between East Limestone and West Limestone. And it's the Indians winning 34-0 in this battle for county bragging rights. Both teams struggling with just one win between them entering the night. But in the end, East Limestone gets to ride home with those bragging rights.
High school football can be a small world sometimes. On its face, tonight's game between Hatton and Westminster Christian might have just seemed like another game, but when you take a look at the head coaches, things change a bit. Wildcats head coach Louis LeBlanc served as a grad assistant in Alabama during the early 2000s. Hornets head coach Nikita Stover played for the Tide in the early 2000s, and yes, they overlapped. Now meeting as coaches, the former wide receiver was trying to lead the Hornets to their fourth straight win over the Wildcats, and they get it done, 48-13. And of course, not all of our games are played on Fridays.
We've got some Thursday night action to check in on right after this break.
Welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. You know, we've got a lot of great teams in our area, and the Hartselle Tigers are consistently among the best. But you know what? They don't always play on a Friday night.
Yeah, these guys have been like a fox in a forest fire. These guys are relentless.
That's my line. He stole my line.
Yeah,
I just want that noted. I wrote that earlier. Didn't make it in the script because we had some issues with one of our scripts. But I wrote that. Stealing my line.
To say it. Wanted to catch you off guard there. Hartselle's not catching anyone off guard. These guys have been awesome. Let's roll the highlights. Hartselle and Woodlawn meeting for just the second time ever. The Tigers won 51-0 last year, and the team was planning to run it up again the other night. Jaheim Pruitt on the carry, and this guy's looking scary. No one even close to bringing him down. He's like a fox.
Don't say it again.
The Tigers keeping things on the ground. This time it's Jaden Morris. He'll have the defense on skates as he breaks free for a solid gain. That drive would end with the kick, and Michael Sumner sends it through to put Hartselle up double digits. Now in the second, Hartselle knocking on the door. Carterly takes it. That reminds me of something.
It's
like a fox in a forest fire.
Stop.
And the Tigers are making it look easy. They moved to 5-0 with the 48-8 victory.
Unbelievable. Fox of the Forest Fire, this guy. How about those Colbert Heights Wildcats? The team is off to a 5-0 start for the first time since 2007. That year, the Cats won 11 games. Tonight, they look to keep it going against Falkville, a team that shut them out last season. Wouldn't shut them out this season, but it would be a repeat of the result as Falkville takes it 22-12. And of course, we have to save one of the best for last. It's Pisgah and Randolph. The Eagles entered the night with a 100% success rate against the Raiders, and they do it again. Pisgah wins this one 34-14. So that means we've gotten to the end of our show. And of course, we just want to take this time to say a massive thank you, not just to everybody that watches the show, but everybody that helps make the show possible. Trevor and I are just two people, and there are so many people behind the scenes who get it all done.
Yeah, everyone's been working back there like a tiger in a tsunami, an eagle in a thunderstorm.
Enough with that. We got
and
some top
fox
lights
in a
to look
forest
at.
fire. Take a look at
Roll
our
the top
highlights.
lights.
You have been watching a special presentation of WAAY.